pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
All right, Savvy investors out there. Man, I've been wanting to get this guy on the radio for a long time. Why? Because he's very intriguing. He is not the average. You know, you could see people and they're the average. Not only that, he's sitting in the studio right now with a Buildium t-shirt. I'm surprised this guy doesn't have a tattoo of Buildium. But he has an amazing, unique way to manage property. And I can't wait for you guys to hear that, because it's like I've never heard about it before. I heard it like 3 or 4 years ago and my jaw dropped. You're telling me that you can guarantee me rent? And you will sign a contract that says that I get the rent no matter what, even if you can't rent that deal out. He's got a great story. He's been a real estate investor for over 9 years. He is the only other real estate investor that I have ever met that is in love with technology as well and about leveraging his time. What else do I know about this guy? Anyway, he has a great background, a great story. So today I would like to welcome on the show Ian Rupert. What's up, Daddy?
Hey, Steven. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, I think you kind of overtook the meeting last night. I turned around. My homie Sean's got a Buildium t-shirt. Some tall, giant 8-foot guy's got a Buildium t-shirt. It's like, and then I see these flyers flying around. I'm like, what is this? It's a Buildium workshop next Thursday. And I'm like, dang, I'm out of town. And also, Ian freaking teaches classes like I do. And we just have a mutual respect for knowledge and learning and helping people. So I'm so glad that you're here. We're going to cover all that jazz. So I always ask, like, how in the world did you get into real estate? And like, what'd you do before? I'm assuming you had a day job. Because just a little while ago, I was like, I slept in, and you're like, I sleep until 9 every day. So you got the rock star lifestyle. Where'd you come from? What job? You know, and how'd you get to Buildium connoisseur?
Well, I worked in insurance as a claims adjuster. I did traveled all around the U.S. working 60 to 80 hours a week. Uh-huh. I ended up on the national reinspection team for a large insurance firm, and I did insurance for about 7 years. I've handled claims $1 million and down.
Like jumping on roofs and stuff?
On roofs, fire, wildfires, hurricanes, all those natural disasters. I traveled around paying people money.
So remember that, Savvy investors, this guy's probably dealt with how many claims? Hundreds of claims?
Thousands and thousands
of
claims.
So you probably have really good insurance, and you know all about insurance.
I do.
That is actually an episode coming up. Man, you're going to be...
I'm still licensed as an insurance adjuster
really?
And a producer, yes.
Awesome. Anyway, we'll definitely have you back on about insurance. So insurance adjusting, and then what?
While I was traveling the U.S., I wanted to build my rental portfolio, and so I actually built just a small portfolio while traveling. I had to leverage my time. So,
were you always from Oklahoma?
Yeah, I grew up in Oklahoma. Actually, moved to Choctaw when I was younger. Went to McLeod schools. Go McLeod.
I know someone that has a house there for sale, but anyway, keep going.
And graduated from McLeod High School. Went to UCO, got a business degree, and when I did that, I got into insurance. Spent 7 years there, and kind of simultaneously built up my rental portfolio.
So, I mean, who taught you real estate? How'd you know about buying real estate would make you money?
I knew that I wanted to own rental property.
Like from your aunt, uncle? There's got someone. You don't just wake up.
You just hear.
Just like Robert said last night. You don't. People want to be astronauts, doctors, firemen. No one wants to say, I want to be a landlord.
Well, I like to try things. And so essentially what I did is after we bought our first house, we wanted to buy a new one.
Oh, you were married at the time?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I've been married 13 years.
Congrats. All right.
Thank you. So after we bought our first home and wanted to kind of upgrade, instead of getting rid of the house, I said, well, why don't we try this landlord thing? And so I became a landlord that way.
Right on. And how many units do you manage now?
I've got about 60 units.
60 units, and you manage for other people and besides yourself?
Technically, I manage for myself, but yes, I have clients.
Okay. All right, let's get into this unique, since we've already crossed the line. You try to be, yes, they're mine, but they're actually, okay, so tell me your business model.
Essentially, my core business is long-term leasing. I lease properties direct from owners for usually 15 to 20 years, and then I make my profit subleasing to tenants.
So it's like a master lease?
Yes.
So a landlord follows you, or an investor has a property, and does it matter what it is, or is there a specific type of property that you're looking for? Or?
I niche in high-end real estate, so a lot of my rents are $1,000 and up.
Okay. So I have a house that's in Choctaw, let's say, or let's just say Midwest City. I know it's worth $1,000 a month, but I can't rent it out. I'm an airline pilot. I'm busy. I call Ian up, and then what do you tell me? How does this work?
I essentially come out there, do an inspection, and then I give you an offer. It's a straightforward, very upfront way of doing business. We say, hey, we'll lease your house for this amount if you do this lease, and give you a few options. And
then this is guaranteed.
It is.
So no matter what, so if we agree upon a rent, so my mortgage is $700 a month, and I'm like, I want $1,000 a month, and you're like, no problem, I'll guarantee you $1,000 a month. And then how do you make money? Because if I'm making $300 a month profit, you drove over here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I make my money by, one, optimizing the rent on the front side. So I'm really good at, if average landlords are getting $1,000 for that property, I'm probably going to at least get $1,100. So that's one way I create my own value. The other way is I shift a lot of the risks. So the landlord doesn't have the risk of vacancy, repairs, collections, maintenance. We have a repair program. And so a lot of my clients agree to do it for close to their mortgage. My investor clients, we go in and they definitely make a profit. But
so like just someone that's like $800, they're content because they never have to think about it.
Correct.
And so
we pay their house off for them.
And so your margins range, because you just gave a 10% analogy. $1,000, you're going to increase it by $1,100, which is 10%. Mm-hmm. So that's a normal property management spread, but. Is there houses that you make more money on? Is there houses that you make less money on? Is it a fixed number? How does it work from there?
Every property is a little unique. So I go out there, determine what the maximum rent I can get is, and then I send the owner an offer based on that.
And it's locked down. And so it's like, it's a fixed number, like a fixed loan.
Yes.
And your benefit to you is long-term management because you obviously are going to increase the rent.
Right. Correct. I'm investing for that long-term rental appreciation.
Okay, but you technically don't own the property.
I don't. I'm investing for that.
But you own the lease.
The appreciation and the cash flow. That's what I'm in long-term leasing for, is cash flow and appreciation.
So this is, and it's great. You have no asset, no money in the game. I think, if you're really a savvy investor, you'd figured that out already. You've got millions of dollars worth of property that you're controlling through a piece of paper, and you're getting the benefits of owning it without the liability of being a grantor.
It also gives me a little bit of leverage too, because a lot of my owners do want to sell. So at the point when they're ready to sell, I've got them on a lease. I can
if they want to cash out per se, because I wouldn't want to sell because you're giving me money and it's guaranteed. So this sounds like the too good to be true type program. How in the world did you come up with this? And you've been testing it for how long have you been doing this?
I've been long-term leasing about 4 years. 4 years. I essentially spent 6 months developing the business model. I was walking around to restaurants and to family gatherings with contracts, and I would scratch stuff out and rewrite it. And I did that for about 6 months. Before that 6 months, I spent a year managing one property for a friend and realized, man, I just hated the way it worked. She didn't have any money. And so I had to really make a lot of money for her in order for that to work, because when repairs came up, she couldn't pay for them. And
then you just look bad that you couldn't fix this heat and air.
So I had to bust it. Get good rents coming in, get good tenants, and I realized I didn't want my name attached to an owner's financial situation.
All right. So, how did you come up with the idea? Because have you read this before? Is anyone else in the country doing it like master leases? Master lease is a word obviously I know, but...
It's known as subleasing in one word, but...
Like in major metropolitans like New York or something?
The difference is subleasing is generally tied to commercial real estate. It's very common there. And a lot of people will maybe sublease their apartment. I'm doing it as a business model. The reason I call it long-term leasing is we also provide the benefits of the repair program. We put it on a maintenance schedule. It's professionally managed because I'm managing the rent and all of that stuff. So that's the added
And
benefit.
then the investor, the one that owns the property, doesn't have to pay for any of that jazz.
Correct.
So we just got the guarantee $1,000 or $800 a month, and if the AC blows up, I mean that's going to hurt your personal cash flow. Is it just because you're spreading it across like insurance? Like,
I'll give you an example. If an AC completely fails and that's a $6,000 repair, we have a repair cap program. We cover up to a certain amount each year, and so it's like $1,000. It's at least $1,000 on a property. So over the course of a 15-year contract with sudden and accidental repairs, we'll cover that $1,000. Now, if
per year,
correct,
that's
per
pretty
year.
good.
And if a tenant comes in and causes $10,000 in damage, we cover that completely. So that's where there's really no cap, is on the tenant damage.
And then you pursue them, and obviously you pre-qualify them and know that you can garnish their wages, or
Correct.
They're viable enough to pay this major repair, which hardly doesn't even happen. I mean,
I've seen some stuff though.
Yeah, well, I deal with that on a daily basis in the hood, over on my side of town, but not on $1,000 rentals. I mean, yeah, actually that's true. I've had I got a $1,500 rental, and this mother blanker ruined the beautiful original wood floors with their animals.
Right. Well, and my average rents are $1,500. I have a house that's $4,800 on our network.
Wow. So how do you find these type of people? We're both investors. I mean, just common knowledge. People just refer you.
Well, the way I got my start is I switched over that one person I told you about. She's a single mom, didn't work for 3 years. She couldn't, and I put her on the long-term lease program, and she referred several people who then referred.
And so she was their first one, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you were frustrated, already put in tons of work and time.
Yeah, and she liked it, and it all worked out great. So she naturally said, "Yeah, sign me up for the long-term lease program." So,
and she's still rolling.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how do you find your high qualified tenants at? I mean, 1,500, 2,000. That sounds like Edmond. A big house. 3,000 square foot house. 2-3 car garage, 3 bathroom. Where are you finding these type of people?
Well, just the other day, I had a $300,000 house that one of my friends he had had some struggles and needed to get out from under it, lease it for a lot, or sell it. He was having trouble with it. He'd spent a couple months doing that. He sent it to me. I agreed to take it on. I did some advertising on it. At 10 a.m., I sent out a text blast to all of my subscribers, and at 10:15, I had it rented.
Cool. Man, that's exciting. Anything else that we need to know about this program? If someone wanted to, in Oklahoma, I guess.
Definitely check out my website, iansenterprise.com. There's videos on there. Check out our Facebook page.
Okay,
and,
right on.
See what it's about.
All right, we're going to try to cover 3 things on this episode. One was your unique business model of managing long-term tenants for investors, and this is a great program. I've known Ian for about 3 years, and I heard about this 3 years ago. I was like, no way, you're lying. I don't believe it. We'll see. A year later comes by, and I just keep watching you. Obviously, you're still doing it. It's a proven business model. So, a lot of people don't get into real estate because they're afraid to be a landlord, or they don't want to be a landlord. This is a great opportunity to be in real estate, still own the asset, but you got a guaranteed income. Yeah, the upside is that you may not get, appreciation as what you think you should, but I think it's worth it versus the headache and the drama, and you take care of the repairs, and you won't call me and say, hey, you owe me $2,000 because the tenant drove through the garage.
Correct.
Okay, awesome. All right, the second thing that I'm throwing this in there is technology. So you're a real big component in technology and push technology. I've been trying to call you for a couple of days. I'm like, this goes to this chick answering service. I'm like, can I text you? And you use Ring Central. Why do you tell me about ringcentral.com? And I know about it. I've heard about it for years. A lot of realtors use it. Why do you use it? What do you like about it? Tell me about Ring Central.
Well, I absolutely love Ring Central. We started out using Skype's phone service, and the limitations were text. You couldn't really text. So since I do outsource, I needed my people to be able to have fast communications with our tenants. A lot of people do business by text. The other thing is there's no quality control. So with Ring Central, I have all my calls recorded and they're stored online. So I love that.
And you can
part.
access them anytime.
Yes.
So the message, I called you yesterday, said, hey, come to the radio, blah, blah, blah. It's recorded. I said, F you. You could reverse it on me. And
I
sue me.
I could.
Have you used that
Better yet, I just forward it to my VA and have them call you back.
Even better. And for you that don't know about VAs, we haven't talked about that yet. It's a virtual assistant. I use them. I love them. Basically, they do things that you don't want to do, or you want to leverage your time, and a VA will do it for you, like answer the phone or scrape websites to get data, and whatever you think about it, you can get a VA to do it. All right, Ring Central, you like that? You record calls, you can forward calls, keep track of stuff. Have you used that in a court case or anything? Has it benefited you in a positive way?
Yeah, I've totally used it in a court case. We've had stuff transcribed, but usually the best use of it is tenants know they're recorded when they call in, and so
I heard it.
It helps cut down on some of the confusion and negativity and
cool, right on,
and all that stuff. And what I do is when something happens, I go and pull the call, and then I call them back, and then I know exactly what was said on the call instead of having to guess.
And have you forwarded that call actually to them to shut them down?
I have had to do that once, but other than that, it's not typical.
Anyway, I know that we're making landlords sound bad because we're so defensive. All right, so what other? How much is that a month, actually?
I think Ring Central is about $50 to $60 per line. It's totally worth it. I think we run about 10,000 calls every 6 months through the system.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
it's great.
Records
it's phenomenal.
It all.
You
it's
get
unlimited. And...
great reporting. I know exactly how many calls people are taking, how many they're missing, how many voicemails they get, and when the calls come in. Okay,
and you have this all orchestrated with your staff and so on and forth. Now, does your wife have the number?
She does.
She does. Because I asked you last night, I'm like, bro, is that your phone number? You didn't answer me. It was like incognito. So you have your own personal cell phone number that no one knows about.
Right. Most of my calls actually go through Ring Central.
Okay. And so people like me, take my incognito number to get a hold of you. So it's worth it.
Yes.
I use a Google Voice. I've heard about Ring Central. I just haven't really necessarily needed it so much. I think if you grow, it's definitely you should grow with it. All right. Name another website that you, besides Buildium, because we're going to get in Buildium here, and we got about 5 more minutes. But tell me another website that you like, or a service that you use, or something to the effects of technology.
Shoeboxed.com. If you own a small business, you've got to look at Shoeboxed.
Yep, love it.
You basically send all your receipts, you stuff them in an envelope, and they index them and put them online for you.
That's awesome. I found some boxes the other day in the warehouse of like old 2000 something taxes. And I was like, man, it's under 7 years. I can't get rid of them. So I ramped up my Shoeboxed account to executive, which is like $100, $200 a month. It's $100 a month. And you can get like 10,000 scans, and I just shoved all my taxes in there. And then it goes to them. They scan it. It's online.
Yeah.
And then I just
get rid of the paper.
And then I just turned it back down to the lower account, actually to the DIY free account. So Shoeboxed, that's SHOEBOXED.com. One more.
Okay.
Tell me one more technology one that you like, or an app.
One for the smaller businesses, Evernote.
Evernote.
I love Evernote.
Tell me why.
You basically can take a picture of a whiteboard. It can be handwritten text. It can be printed text. It can be upside down text or in a foreign language, and they recognize it. So it makes it a lot easier to find later.
And you can use it as an extension in your browser.
You can. You can also integrate it with a bunch of other things.
Yeah. What do you mainly use it for?
I used to use it for all of my document management, but at some point you have to move on. Yeah, you've got to move on to something a little more enterprise grade. But it's great for brainstorming, team environments.
You can chat in there now.
Resources. If you have a lot of just miscellaneous stuff, like if you go to meetings and get various flyers, just send it to Evernote and forget about it. And then one day, if you ever need to look it up, you can type in a keyword and find it. So.
Yeah, I heard it's Google for your mind.
Yes.
In 2011, they were the #1 company on Inc. magazine, and Google tried to buy them, and they didn't.
Wow.
So that's how I heard that too. All right. So we're at the second half of the episode today, and we're going to talk about Buildium. And you are a component for Buildium. I mean, you have been raising their flag. I've been on Buildium. I can't remember. I was on Propertyware. I was on another software before that. I did a 6-month and excruciating online. It had a post on Craigslist. I had these 10 things. Some software had to do these things. I had to have multiple user login. I didn't even use the financial side. and I found Buildium before I knew you, and I love Buildium, but I've never met anyone that talks to Buildium on a daily basis like you do. And tell me why you love Buildium, why you're wearing a t-shirt, and all that other jazz.
I've been on Buildium since almost the beginning. I'm one of the early adopters. I was there when they didn't have nearly the features that they have today. I went through the complete overhaul process with them.
Cool.
It's been a great experience. I love Buildium because they continue to improve the software and they listen to their users.
Cool. What's the first thing that you do when you log into Buildium? Obviously your password, but what's the next thing that you do?
I look at my dashboard. How much rent do I need to collect?
Okay, so you look at what's outstanding?
Yes.
Okay, have you what are the unique things? Like one thing that I figured out the other day. Well, first of all, I get this question of the day. This is a cool one you like. Someone said, "Hey, should I get QuickBooks?" And I really, do I need to learn QuickBooks? And I'm like, no, you don't. You just need Buildium. We run our whole 100-something properties on Buildium with flawlessly. And we have 3 or 4, I have like 6 users on there that log in. I love that you can create a work order on my phone and I can email it to that contractor.
Yes.
And he has it and he can go right to the job.
Yes.
That's another thing I love about it. What else? You got a portals?
Yeah, you've got the tenant portal, the vendor portal, the rental owner portal.
For you, that's
and
really
you don't
good.
have to create all that stuff. It comes with your subscription. And it's very well designed and laid out.
Come on, man. You got to Buildium. Tell me something. Give me something new. What are they working on over there?
Well, they just released cash flow statements. We've been waiting on that for like 5 years.
That'd be really good for a
It's been
bank.
a long time coming, but now there's cash flow statements. So one really good thing.
Here's a question that maybe you can answer. I love that you can just click a button, hit reports. So seems like every quarter, but almost every half a year, my bank's like, hey, I need a rent roll. No problem. Click reports, click rent roll, what properties, all the properties, click the dates, boom, done. I zip it over to the bank. 90% of my banks, they love it. They're thankful. See you later. But I had this other bank the other day ask me which ones are vacant, which ones are not. I'm like, well, the ones that don't have addresses on there are not leases. Because it populates what the market rent is. But if you scroll down to the bottom, it says what your actual total is, what your vacancy rate, so on and so forth.
Right.
So I don't know if it's not a glitch per se, but I thought that was very unique. He was asking me which ones were vacant, which ones weren't, or, I don't know what he was trying to ask me. But anyway, I don't know if that's even a question. That's kind of a statement. So, how about your leases? Do you have your leases inside Buildium?
I actually manage all aspects of my business. So I have the front leases and the back leases in Buildium. I manage my owner's finances, rental finances.
Okay, tell me about what's a front lease, what's a back lease.
So the tenant lease, the tenant that's living in the house, I manage that on my side of Buildium. And then I have a rental owner side of Buildium where I'm the tenant and I'm set up as a lease as a tenant and they're set up as the rental owner.
Right, so they can get reports and...
Correct.
Can you transfer money within Buildium? Like, how can you pay them to your...
Yeah, it's all electronic. All my owners are paid with EFT.
Through Buildium?
And almost all of my tenants pay by EFT.
Through?
Buildium.
Awesome. All right, how about, how are people signing documents? Are they through Buildium?
Buildium current is still working on an e-signature platform. I've been using DocuSign for many years and love it.
So you use DocuSign, you get them to go, you download the PDF, and then you upload it to Buildium.
Yes, that's what we do.
Okay, cool. A lot of people like Appfolio, which I think is kind of way out of price. Because if you're just starting out as a real estate investor, it used to be $1 a unit. It still is $1 a unit, but you have to start off with a $40 plan. And there used to be 2 programs. Used to be like landlord and then property manager.
Yeah, you're talking about Buildium.
Yes. And they changed. But see, I know with Appfolio, it's the minimum is $200 a month, and the minimum for Buildium is
$40
$40 a month.
Yeah.
So, which if you're just starting out in real estate, people ask me this question all the time: what should I do? A lot of people spreadsheet it. I think it's not a good idea. Spend the $40. If you got 2 units, think of it $20 a unit. If you got 4 units, it's $10 a unit. You should be getting over 40 units, then it becomes $1 a unit from there.
Correct.
But the biggest comparison to Appfolio is, it's integrated to QuickBooks. What's the time frame on that? Because I how I respond, I say, because I'm a big Buildium advocate. I'm not as zealous as you are, which I mean, because you just love technology, and I am, but I say you do it. You're dumb if you don't do Buildium, and we're not getting paid for this. So let you know out there, we're just talking. I'm just talking about my day. This thing runs. This cuts out a whole person in my business, but that's the biggest complaint that people say. It doesn't do. What I do is I download all the data and upload it into QuickBooks.
There is an import-export feature. You might be able to get that to work with QuickBooks.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I do it. Yep. I mean, you don't have a problem. Do you use QuickBooks now in your business?
I don't use QuickBooks. I usually recommend that people fully and wholeheartedly adopt Buildium from the beginning, and then you really never need QuickBooks. The reports in Buildium are very, very good. For example, in that situation you mentioned earlier with the bank, if they wanted the report in a different format, you simply export it to Excel instead of PDF, and then you just change it to whatever they want to, whatever they want.
And then you cut out and add things. And,
yeah, exactly.
Right, got it. All right, I noticed that I went to your website the other day, and it's all cool, blue, and all this other jazz. How easy it is to customize, and it comes with a website. Let's talk about that for a little while.
Yeah, Buildium comes with all the portals and the front-facing website, whereas I think at Folio you pay another $1,000 or $1,500 for them to set that up for you. Buildium, it comes with your subscription standard. You can customize it. You don't need to know any HTML programming to do it. You can make it look great with very little time. I think I've spent maybe a couple hours making.
Yeah,
my site
and you can
good.
change your background like you did so easily.
Yes,
because I see a lot of my friends have Buildium, and so we all pretty much have the same kind of screen, which is I don't really care.
Kind of the default.
Well, I mean, it's what I love about it, and I don't know. I used to write HTML code a long time ago, and I used to have to create a separate website. And every time I got a new listing, I had to create a website and front page and da 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 da. I love Buildium where I just click a button, it's listed, boom, and then it syndicates to Zillow, Backpage, or wherever. I mean, it's just $40 a month. I mean, when people complain about $40 a month, they probably shouldn't be a real estate investor.
That's my thoughts exactly.
I mean, seriously, like. If you've ever designed a website, even if on an online drag and drop, it still I click a button and it asks me like, when is it available? Double checking the rent, and then is your description correct? And it's up there, and like within, I don't know how fast it populates on Zillow, but I know when I click that button, let's say at noon, by 3 or 4 o'clock, I'm getting inquiries from Hotpads.
Yes.
Zillows, and I know by the next day I've got like 10 or 15 inquiries.
And they're able to apply online, all electronically. You don't have to have paper applications.
Right. And you can change that too. The standard form doesn't have what do you call it, middle initial, because I think that's important.
Yeah, there's lots of questions you probably would want to add.
Right. There's one little thing you should tell Buildium is like when people apply, if they apply at the house they're looking at, it populates the house. But if they just click apply on the main page, it doesn't tell the house. So we did a workaround because we're gangster like that. We put a drop down. We put what property are you applying for in a field?
That's how I handle it.
That's how you do it. Yeah. Maybe you should look at my application online and tell me what I'm doing wrong. And you like to do that. You like to say, that's wrong. So, all right. Anyway, any other things about Buildium?
Well, it's very simple to use. So when you start to have other people involved in your business, you don't have to train them. Buildium has a lot of tutorials online, and the Fast Start series, lots of videos. I tell people to do all of that before they even come to my class.
I gotta confess this. So I hired this amazing woman to run my property, and I told her Buildium. She got it going. Watched the videos. I mean, it took like maybe 2 or 3 days versus when I used to hire property managers, it would take months for them to get acclimated. That girl was teaching me stuff within like 2 weeks. She's like, you can write checks through Buildium. You can do this on Buildium. You can do automated. This is here's a tip for you. And if you've done this, I'd be excited but we automatically do the late fee, right? But we also have it like staged at 5 days. This happens at 8 days. This happens. We charge you this fee. We charge you that fee. I mean, I don't have to think about it. It automatically populates. Like today, everyone has been late, and it's already in there. It automatically emails them for me.
Right.
And it tracks everything. I know when my property manager logs in, I can see when they log in on my dashboard.
Yes, and there's an audit log as well.
Okay. What other sneak peeks can you tell us about Buildium? And then you got a class coming up. Let's talk about that in a minute. But tell me anything new that's revolutionary that's going to happen with Buildium.
I mean, they're constantly working on stuff. I think I was just in a meeting with them, and they're wanting to roll out a service for property managers to help find clients.
Cool.
So that's kind of
like a lead generation type situation.
Lead generation. Yes.
Right on. All right. First of all, if you don't know how to spell Buildium, let me just do that and go to BUILDIUM.com. If you want like a discount, like I can refer you. You can email me directly at info@thesavvylandlordbook.com, or you can, if you like Ian and you know and you know him, and he gets a referral fee for that, which is kind of cool. What's your email? Ian@IansEnterprise.com. IAN@IANSenterprise.com. Okay, so you have a class coming up next Thursday. What's that date? September.
That would be the 10th.
The 10th. Okay, and it's Buildium 101. And what are you going to cover there?
I'm going to cover any questions you have concerning Buildium. At the very beginning of the class, I usually spend about 30 to 45 minutes asking people, "Hey, what do you want to learn today?" And one of my rules, I only have a couple of rules, is if you ask me a question, I'm probably going to give you the answer. And so I hope so. I tell people at the beginning, and I usually get lots and lots of questions, which is great. But we cover everything. Dealing with startup, getting your subscription set up, making sure you know where the forum is, and the training, get you on the right path.
Cool, right on. I know you can text in to get your class to register, or
yes.
Give us all that details.
The class is normally $100, but I'm doing it for free, which is really exciting stuff.
Cool. Why for free?
I just want to build up my list, my clients, and I want to get to know people and networking.
And you want to let Buildium know that you're out there working for free for them.
Yeah. I've started getting noticed, which is kind of cool.
Well, they sent you T-shirts.
They did.
Can I get an extra large?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, Sean, where'd you get that shirt? I want that shirt.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, Ian wanted me to help him.
Yeah.
All right. So it's this Thursday, 9 a.m.
Yes, 9 a.m. You want to text the keyword training to a 5-digit short code, 72727, 5 digits.
Okay. So pull out your phone, text training, TRAINING, to 72727. All right. And this is going to be held where?
This will be held at the Entrepreneur Leadership Center here in Central Oklahoma City, off Portland and 50th.
Okay, great location. I just was recently there. And is there a phone number they can call that will be recorded?
Yes. If they call it, it'll be recorded. 405-622-8679.
Ian, it's been a pleasure. I know we'll have you back on, like on a tech situation and definitely on an insurance situation. Man, it's been a pleasure to get to know you, and I'm so thankful that you're in Oklahoma City and that you love people and you want to encourage them. And I'm not trying to sell Buildium, but I used to run spreadsheets, and you did too, right?
I did. I used to run spreadsheets. I used Quicken Rental.
And yeah, I did. Well, that didn't last long. No. But and you forget numbers. People don't. I mean, it's all accessible on your phone, and our goal here today is to encourage you to step up your business and treat it like a business and not let it run you. And your life will be great with Buildium. So check it out. Hopefully Buildium heard this. I'm the Savvy Landlord. You're listening to the Savvy Radio Show. And it's been a pleasure. Get out there, buy assets, build your business, and don't be soft. Get Buildium.com.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at SavvyRadioShow.com. Connect on Twitter @LandlordBook and always be buying assets.